Hello everyone, Ceri the Crafter here, that's C-E-R-I the Crafter, and today we're going to address some old glue book pages. So you very often see me create these things and folded pages when I'm actually doing collage in my glue book, and they always go in the box that's over there. I just want to show you one of the many uses I have for them, and as you're on the playlist of using book pages, you're in the right place. So now I'm going to be standing up and sitting down a bit on this because I have to sit down to do the second half of this, which is sewing, but I just want to show you this bit first. So I take them now, these are glued, but whether they're glued very well or not, it doesn't matter for this process. One thing I would say when you're using glue book pages, always quickly scan over the pages just to make sure there's nothing not acceptable in the public domain, should we say. Like, we don't need swear words or things of sexual nature or racism, or you get the gist, you know where I'm at. So I'm just going to take a tear ruler, and I like to tear off the white side. Let's take that out of the way. Now again, you can stamp onto that if you really needed to. I'm probably not going to, because you know what, I'm recycling a book page which has been made into a glue book, which has been made into something else, so I think I've done my bit with that. There's no set width for doing these, so this one I'm going to do wide and small, only because of what I want to do with them in a minute. So I'm going to have two different widths there. However, this one I'm probably just going to tear it right down the middle once I've taken the edges off. So I'm trying to get torn edges on both sides because these are just glue book pages. I'm not worried really if it's a completely straight tear. If there's bits like this cut in, that's also fine. You can utilize these little bits if you really want to. Actually, let's keep that one to one side, and we'll utilize that bit as well. So I'm just going to tear this one right down the middle. So, and if I can tear that, that's right. Okay, so I've torn those. I think I've got some others to one side already torn. I do have ones to one side torn. Now, the next bit is going to be with my sewing machine. I apologise if you don't have a sewing machine. I suppose you could run a line of glue down the middle of this, or you could hand stitch them if you wanted to hand stitch them. Obviously, because this is an overhead camera, when I bring my little sewing machine in, you're not going to be able to see exactly what I'm doing down there, but I thought it's better to have it in shot than trying to sew to one side without you seeing. So I'm going to sit down for a second because I know that's in shot, so everything I do should also be in shot. Now, I'm going to show you a couple of the basics I do, but then I'm going to tie in other things. So say I've got a strip like this, so just a basic strip. Let's choose this one, not that there's any preferential treatment. I like to do these in zigzag, so I'm just going to turn my setting to zigzag. You can do them in any stitch you want. You can do them with fancy stitches. I don't have any fancy stitches on this machine, but then that's why I use this machine for craft. It's a really basic one. So I don't back stitch either. I'm just going to do a zigzag. Sorry if the noise is a little loud for you. There isn't a whole lot I can do about that. So I'm just feeding it through, and when I'm almost to the end, and when I say almost to the end, when I'm about this far away from the end, I stop sewing because I need to think about what I'm doing next. So I'm going to then take the next one, because I like to do these in a production line sort of way, and I will actually just lay one over the top of the other. It doesn't matter whether the text is the same as the one below, that's not important to this. I'm laying a double layer now, and then I'm going to feed this in when the other one is through. There you go, feeding through. Now I'll try and speed this up a bit, hopefully it's not too loud for you. I'm not worrying that things are absolutely smack dab in the middle. I don't care whether they've got creases in them. Basically, I'm just sewing them down. Now, as we did create one of these, let's do something different with this as well, which I wasn't planning, but we'll do it because it just popped into my brain. I'm going to feed these two in with a plain edge over the top of a text edge. And just do this. It's a little tricky, guys, because I'm sitting on an angle, so I'm kind of side saddle to do this, but you know what? At least you're seeing what I'm doing to a certain degree. Again, stopping just before the end. Now, something I like to do is, if I've got bits of sari silk, or I've got a whole box over here of like strips of fabric or even pieces of lace like this, or even little pieces like this. This is pretty much what I would kind of do for like a fabric cluster thing. So I'm just going to take a few pieces of this off here. Just no rhyme nor reason. This is almost like a scrap busting exercise when it comes to using up these glue book pages. So I'm going to lay that down. Let's take a bit of sari, well, pieces of fabric. Doesn't have to always be sari silk. So I'm going to start feeding this through. And you'll obviously see all of these. I'll hold them up to the camera when we're done. So once I've started feeding that through, I'm just going to drop in other little elements as I go. Just trying to capture the edges of them, like there's a bit of green. If you've got sari silk and it's all crunched together, you can either leave the crunch together, or I like to open it out knowing that it's actually going to curl back up again once I stop holding it open. So it's quite nice because it wraps around the, what am I trying to say, around the stitches. So let's pop this little bit of lace in next. I'm almost at the end of this. Let's not stick anything there. Right, when I get to, say this is my piece that I'm sewing, and I get to about here, I will stop the machine and snip this so it doesn't run into the next piece. Okay, so I'm just about to do that. And that adds another little bit I can add to the next one. And keep going. Right, so let's add another one in. Anything will do, guys. Anything. I mean, that's just a thin edge off a piece of something I must have cut up for something else. So let's do another one of those. Stick that bit of, oh, actually I've just ended on sari silk, so let's stick this bit of fabric in. You can, anything you can get through your machine you can put onto this. You could use bits of rice paper, you could use washi tape, anything you wish for this. So I'm just going to keep adding little pieces in as I go. They are very, very, very similar to a cluster, a fabric cluster. I don't know whether someone's done this before. I'm absolutely certain they must have done. I can't say that I'm the first one to have gone, oh, look, I can do that with book pages. Yeah, that's probably not me. I'm just going to snip a bit of this off because I like the colour of that. And pink and turquoise is a nice combination. I actually like brown and pink as well, funnily enough. It's weird the colour combinations we all lean towards. So just keep on going. Oh, there's another little bit of that lace. Let's stick that down there on the end of it. Keep going. Right, I'm just going to snip the end of that one off. Right, I've got one more piece here. Let's just use up some scraps that I've got. Which bit do I want to use? Let's use this. Let's use this one. I'm doing an autumn journal at the moment, so I can always use autumn colours at the moment. Hence my fingers are probably orange. Why are you not threading in? Oh, it's good I got it stuck on the other side of the needle. Okay, no problem. Right, this is the last one, guys, and I'll move the machine away and we can take a look at what we produced and how I then go on and finish them. One more stitch. There you go. Right, let's take the old machine out of the way. Right, out of everyone's eyesight so you can actually see what I've done. So I tend to do them production line like that. Let's move those to one side. And this isn't the end by all means. So this is the one where it got stuck, but I don't mind. I can snip that off. That goes into a cluster at some point. We've got this one as well. Just snip them all down. And we've got a couple of blank ones, and it's the blank ones I really use quite often because I don't always want to use my fabric and lace on these. Now there's a next stage to this. Let's push this chair back so I can see that I am still in shot. I am still in shot. Wow, that's good of me. So I now take my pieces. Now, obviously, this is just a flat one, and I really scrunch them together, and then I unscrunch them. Now, this process can be done with book pages too. The only thing I would say is, and I'm just using vintage photo on the side, if you have old book pages, they may not be resilient enough to be able to do this. But if you like the look of a book page that's really old, then I would say just glue it to a normal page from your glue book that's got the support for it, and then you can go ahead and use it. Now when it comes to the double ones, remember we did a small one, I like to pinch the middle bit up so as much of the edges are showing as I can. Depends on how straight your stitching was as to whether all of the edges are on one side or not. And then I'll scrunch it up and then I'll unscrunch it again. And what that does, it gives me a lot of visual texture. It also gives me somewhere for the ink to catch hold of. Now, these are by no means finished unless you decide they're finished. You could come in and glue some gems down the center of that. You could do anything you want with that. You could use it on a tag. I'm going to use it in a couple of different ways to show you, but it's whatever you want to do. Now just make a few of these, because if I'm going to make them, I might as well make them, and they take minutes, as you can see. I don't even know how long this video is. Okay, we've been at this 11 minutes now and I've already made a load. And if you just sit down for an hour and just keep running stuff through your machine, it's absolutely an easy thing to do. Now, I tend to scrunch these as well with fabric, because then that means I've got some edges to catch, and I don't care whether I'm putting vintage photo on the fabric or just on the book page or either. You can pull back and go in, but to be honest, I don't really bother. Do I ink before I sew? Very rarely, and the reason I do that is because I want the creases in there. If I'm sewing, the paper's normally flat, and I find that I don't get interesting enough ink shapes on there, or brush marks from the ink shapes. I've got some serious threadage going there. That needs to be out of my life. And this is the one that was the last one that didn't quite catch under the machine, but that's fine, because I could put a little flower or something there if I'm using this one. Blending tool's going nice and fuzzy on me. So, right, let's just finish this one off, and then I can show you some other samples, and I can show you how I would use it. See, I've got orange fingers already. Ceri has turned into fall. So as you can see, we now have strips. Now, we are junk journalists, and we're looking for stuff that we can use that will give us a different look or different texture, and I'm just recycling pieces. So a few of the other ones I've got in my stash. Well, there goes another plain one. I just did some sari silk with lace. That was just lace with a snippet on the end. As you can see, I just do whatever I want on them. As I said, you can put gems down the middle. You could actually just glue some lace on. You can put a medallion at the top. How would I use them in a journal? So, right, this is a naked journal I've just done. So for me, this would be a great thing. I could just down the side of a page. I could actually put it across the top of a page. It's one of those things that just adds interest. So let me so say I've got a tag on the go. I could, right, you look as if you need some green on you, lady. I could glue that down and just snip that off. It's just one of those things. I could add it to, let's get, okay, there's a journal card. Say this was a bigger journal page. I could come in and I could glue that across the top, and that could be the top of a pocket. So I find them really useful. They're just another visual texture thing that I've got in my stash. I mean, you could use it on the cover, I suppose. I've never thought of using it on the cover. I mean, if you really wanted, you could fold them in half and then use them as page markers. So I would snip that off and glue it so you've got a tab either side, or let's see if I can find a tag that's not got a loop. Or I could just come in and I could snip it shorter and do it as a loop at the top of a tag. So it's just one of those things. Cut them into smaller pieces and just use them somewhere on there. But it's the way I like to use up book pages. As I said, if you're using an old book page, it's probably not going to be strong enough. So glue that to an existing, more modern page before you start doing that bit. So let me just move those aside. Not even sure what I call those, to be honest. I think they're just book page strips, which might be what I call them for this video. So that was just a little one from me, just to add to the playlist of what I do with my book pages. I will, or glue pages should I say, I will be sharing more in the future with you because I've got more on the go. So this is my social media links. You've seen them before, you know where to find me now because you've already found me. Thank you for coming on the journey with me, guys. I will see you next time around. Hopefully this was useful. So this is Ceri the Crafter, Ceri the Crafter, signing off. Bye-bye now.